Welcome back to Beautiful Work, Beautiful Life. You're here with two life coaches, and we're talking all about inner work and your inner life and the beautiful work that it takes to have a beautiful life. And we are beginning a new month. And this month of September of 2025 has 5 weeks in it. So you've got a bonus episode this month. I created a beautiful meditation for everybody, Laurel.
I can't wait to hear that.
I know. And then Laurel and I are taking some extra time together this month to continue the conversation because we just felt like this month was just a month where we were both so steeped in the juiciness of what we're talking about that we just want to come back together and share a little bit more.
And part of my really wanting to spend more time with you in this podcast setting was really, it's our 5th year, which is a big to-do for me. When I think about like us, the Laurels being in conversation together, there's something really special that happens when we're together.
Yeah. We've got a great synergy now, for sure. Yeah. A little bit of magic goes on.
That's right.
So the magic that you're going to tap into with us today, and we're going to invite you into and explore together, is the topic is your heart, your wisdom, and your courage.
I love this topic.
I do too.
And I already have so many questions.
Oh, I'm so glad. So yes, what we're going to do to kick off the month here is we're going to give you a brief episode to get you going on your own self-exploration this month, because what we really want to encourage everybody to, through the podcast, what we're doing here is to, begin your own exploration, conversation, reflection, and inner, I don't know, travels, so to speak.
Exploration.
To find your wisdom, to get in touch with your heart, and to know that you have courage in there to really create the beautiful life you want. So, we're gonna dig in today and give you some questions.
Yes.
To help you with your exploration. Yeah.
And one little, thought that I have about courage, it's not just tapping into our courage, it's practicing courage.
Yeah.
And it's honoring courage, that this, inner work is not easy sometimes. It's a courageous act to tap into your heart, especially in a world that rewards us for tapping into our head and our cognitive ability.
Yeah. Yeah. And yet, I guess the wisest people that I know in my life, and probably the wisest authors that I've read, right, are people that really have learned well how to live through their heart. And so this idea of connecting, your heart, your wisdom, your courage, seeing that as kind of a powerhouse of qualities together. Yeah, is a cool way to look at it. Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
So where do you want to start in this conversation?
I know. I don't know. I mean, we led with the word heart.
Okay.
Yeah. So the first. So let's just riff on some questions, Laurel. The first thing that comes up to my mind, is how often do you breathe into your heart?
Yeah.
I love, to make that heart connection, right? For me, it was breathing and then imagining my breath coming into my heart, coming in and leaving, coming and going from my breath coming and going from heart space, which connected me in my attention and in my intention to heart space.
Yes.
Yeah.
And one of my practices, and I learned this breath work when I was doing my yoga training, is expanding my heart space by bringing the breath in and intentionally bringing it to, and visualizing the breath coming into maybe my back body, the back of my lungs, the side, imagining bringing the breath in and having it fill your sides under your underarms, filling, and then the front. And when I do this practice, I intentionally am thinking about expanding the space that contains my heart so that my heart can grow bigger.
Yeah. And relax.
Oh, yes.
Relax. Yeah. I don't think we are aware usually of how much tension we can actually hold in the heart space, right?
Yes.
When you hear about people having sudden heart attacks, sometimes I wonder, is that an accumulated time of the heart being so constricted by its, the fear of going in there or the ability to, just cut it off from, being aware of what's going on. We talked about that a little bit,
Yeah.
So, uh, you know, one of the things that I'll say, and I'll invite people to, is first, are there feelings that you're afraid to feel? Because sometimes that keeps us out of connecting with our heart. And so I would say that that's another great journaling question. Are there things you're afraid to face or feel that,
Yes.
your heart is connected to, so you're afraid to get in there? And I have found that this practice of connecting with your heart through your breath is generally a gentle way to begin to strengthen your heart without going directly into the feelings themselves. They will start to slowly emerge, I think, as you strengthen your
Yes.
connection with your heart. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I do think it's not necessary to name the feeling that you're afraid of,
Mm-hmm.
but just to be aware of, are you holding yourself in a way or even behaving in a way that you're protecting your heart?
Yeah.
Right?
That's great.
Symbolically, I think about this when we don't trust, or we are hesitant to love.
Mm,
Right? When we are, I'm even going to say, restricting or limiting our love to only those people who deserve it or whatnot,
yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
we are putting this imaginary constraint on
Mm,
our heart space.
yeah.
And then one thing that I was just thinking about, and it was in one of my coach training courses, where, we as humans, we stand now and walk on 2 feet. We stand upright, and we are one of the only animals who our heart is exposed to risk.
Yeah.
And so when we are protecting ourselves, our physical body starts to, contain our heart, right? It might be that
Yeah.
we slouch a little more, or we have some inward shoulder or forward neck,
Yeah.
right? And so that would be another question I would ask, not just, are there feelings you're afraid to feel, but is your body showing you signs of protecting your heart?
That's beautiful. I love that. That's another kind of gentle approach, like connecting with your breath and your heart space, that would allow you to begin to strengthen your ability to just get connected to your heart again, which would be look in the mirror. See, are you protecting your heart in some sort of physical way by your posture, and then begin to just work on allowing yourself to straighten out a little bit.
Yeah.
I know in Tai Chi, one of the things that my teacher used to talk about a lot was, the whole goal of Tai Chi was to move in a way where you were leading with the heart, but you knew when you needed to that you could protect it,
That's right.
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, it's one of the reasons that a back bend is, in yoga, it's so difficult, right?
Yeah.
Just last week, I was in an exercise class, and the instructor asked us to lay over one of those the big bounce balls.
Yeah.
It was very difficult
Yeah.
to be able to put your whole body and open up
Yeah.
and trust.
Mm,
So it was just fascinating to me.
yeah.
I would have much rather been on my belly hugging that ball.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
So like
absolutely. And probably everybody else in class too.
maybe. So I do
Yeah.
think it's interesting to think about, how do we use our physical body to protect our heart?
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. That's great. So wisdom, Laurel, your wisdom. I guess I would first, I guess I would just challenge everybody to say, do you believe that you're a wise person? What's your
It's a
belief
great
around that?
question.
What's your belief around that?
And I'm going to add a second question. Do you believe you were born into this life with wisdom?
Mm, yeah.
Because because this is my experience right now as a 62-year-old woman. I believe the older I get, the wiser I get.
Mm,
But I question, and I want our listeners to question this too. Is it now because I trust my wisdom more than I
trust
did,
yourself more.
right? Than I did
Yeah.
when I was 10 years old or 15 years old or 20 years old?
Yeah. Yeah.
Have I
I,
always been wise and I just didn't know how to trust it?
mm, yeah. All right. Here's the question that's coming in loud and clear to me is what do you think the difference is between wisdom, intelligence, and knowledge? Can you like make discernments around what all those things are so you can really understand maybe better that you are a wise person by being able to understand what wisdom is in
I can't
a more
wait to answer
discerning
that
way?
question, but I'm not going to do it now. And I don't want you to do it now because I
Yeah.
don't want to influence
Yeah.
our listeners' answers.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
And
that's
then
a
I would
good
say,
question.
do you have a good example in your life of somebody who you think is really wise? And how do you know they're wise?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. How does
What
that
do you,
register? Yeah.
yeah. And what do you admire about them because of their wisdom?
Yeah. Yeah.
And how might you invite yourself to admire your own wisdom?
Yeah. Yeah. And where is that actually showing up in you? Or are you hiding that part of yourself? Because if you notice it in somebody else, you usually have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it, I keep going back to trust, right? Do you admire it in someone else because there's no risk there? You can admire someone else, right? You can trust. I mean, my mother had great wisdom. When I was a certain age, I didn't really admire her wisdom. The older I got and the more that I really saw the wisdom that she held and shared with other people, it was
Mm,
really beautiful to watch.
yeah.
And so with myself, it's like, can I honor myself and trust myself enough to be able to see my own wisdom, as if I'm an observer?
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. And finally, courage.
This is a
And
good
I know we've talked about courage before on the show. We've talked, we'll refer to those episodes too, but you can go back and listen into those for maybe more ideas or more thoughts around that. But I feel like the exploration, of our own courage is a task that you want to give yourself probably more credit than you're giving yourself for now. Yeah. Yeah.
I was thinking the word grace.
Yeah,
It
grace,
is
grace, that's
by
good.
giving yourself grace, you can recognize your own courage because
Yeah,
we are hard on
I
ourselves.
know. We're so hard on ourselves. Yeah. Go
And
back to the beginning, go back, allow yourself to go back to the beginning and think about when you were little. What were the courageous things that you did? What kind of little risks did you take or big risks did you take? And if you lost that sense of yourself along the way, can you identify maybe some spaces where you started to be too afraid, so you wouldn't be the risk taker anymore. Like, can you watch the trajectory of maybe where you got afraid to use your courage,
yeah.
Yeah.
And even in everyday life now, there are so many things that we encounter in the world we live in
Yeah.
that we take action, we use our voice, right? We share our thoughts and ideas and fears, and all of those things take courage.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think we don't give ourselves, like you said, credit
Yeah.
to acknowledge how courageous we really are.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. For me, it took an enormous amount of courage to begin my inner work. It was a really I think, in a lot of ways, a scary proposition because, you know, I knew that I was doing things out of alignment inside myself. And to face that truth of my choices and
Yeah.
begin to do that in a way where I wasn't judging myself, but understanding, the path that I took and why I did what I did and how I could do it differently now if I really wanted to, and give myself grace,
Yeah.
right, around all of that. Took a lot of courage to do
Yeah.
that. Took a lot of courage.
It
Yeah.
really does because, you know, taking the action that is necessary after we have the wisdom, we have some intelligence, we know what is not in alignment. Knowing is one thing, but taking action to course correct is really courageous.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know I once said to my daughters that quitting my corporate job without another job lined up was the most courageous thing I had ever done.
Yeah.
And my oldest said, "No, it's not. You've done courageous things our whole life." And so it's really interesting to see the things I was doing, the choices I was making, oftentimes felt like survival, right? Often felt like it was the only option I had at the time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but my children saw it as courage.
Courageous. Yeah. Yeah, that's great. That's great. Boy, that's an interesting conversation to have with them over the holiday weekend, Laurel. Tell me more about the courage you saw in me. I
Maybe
want
I'll
to
save
hear.
that for Thanksgiving.
Yeah. That's
Thanks
great.
Thanksgiving the Thanksgiving dinner table is always filled with conversations that are uncomfortable. So,
Oh,
maybe I'll want to bring this a
topic
little
in.
praise and recognition on how to be courageous women.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Well,
Yes. Oh, anything else around those that's coming up in for questions and reflections for people?
the only thing that's coming up for me is going back to, who do you admire? Who do you look to as courageous or wise or a heart-centered leader, or someone living a heart-centered life? Who are those people? And what is it that they did or said that has you believing, that they're courageous or
Yeah.
wise?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I do think, sometimes we don't have role models in, in real life.
Yeah.
But when I think about someone like, maybe Mother Teresa, right?
Yep.
Like, what were her actions? What were her decisions? How did she live that might inspire me? Because I look at her as a courageous person.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do think there are people out there that are being courageous today. They're doing countercultural things and speaking up and using their voice as well. And so it's finding the ones that really resonate for you, truly resonate for you. What do you care about? And one of the ways to find them is what do you care about deeply? And then who's speaking to that, right? And how are
Yes.
they speaking to it that can offer you, some courage for yourself,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just, thinking about countercultural, I believe doing your inner work is countercultural.
Yeah,
I
it
believe,
is.
being a heart-centered leader in a workplace is countercultural.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be, this great advocacy where you're protesting with signs in front of a state
Mhm.
house.
Yep.
It can be journaling. It can
Yeah.
be meditating. It can be walking in nature just to tap into your own wisdom.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a
And to
courageous act.
and to invite everybody else's wisdom to the table, right? And everybody
Yes.
else's courage and everybody else's heart into the table.
Yeah.
That's a courageous act in and of itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Countercultural.
That's right. Let's
Yeah.
lead our own little countercultural movement here in Beautiful Work, Beautiful
I
Life.
would like to do that. I feel we are.
Well, I'm happy to be here with you.
Same here. So we've loaded you up with questions.
Yes,
Our
we'll put them all in
invitation,
the show notes
we'll put them
so
all in the
that you
show
have
notes.
them.
And we're inviting you to do some more exploration as the month goes on. I have a great meditation for you. We've got a great conversation with Tara, who's a yogi and just really steeped in love and light. And so she's got some great stuff. And then we've got another great conversation coming, and it's going to be a good month. Yeah.
It is going to be a really good month.
Yeah.
And as you're doing this work and exploration, if you need support, know that we are here for you.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. We're just an email away.
That's right.
Yep. All right, Laurel. Well,
Thank you.
thank you. And I'll see you again this month. Okay.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.